For example, one of the most destructive beliefs of all for success making money, whether it's as an entrepreneur or salesperson, and they're very similar, by the way, like a commission-based or something that can make a lot of commission. You're in your own business, so to speak. So they're very, very similar, right? But this idea that the world happens to me. I'm a creature of circumstance. Like it's destiny. Versus I make my own circumstance. I create circumstance. When you believe, if you have even a stitch of that belief that the world happens to me, then there's three things that you tend to do. The first is you blame. You play what's called the blame game. You blame everyone and everything for why you're not succeeding. You blame the government, you blame your family, you blame your education, you blame the economy, you blame the competition, you blame everybody but who? Yourself. You don't ever look in the mirror and get honest and say, you know what, maybe I'm part of this. See, the first thing you do is play the blame game. The second thing you do is you justify. You actually justify why you don't have money. You'll start saying things like, well, I don't really need to make a lot of money. Money doesn't matter. And I got some fucking news for you. Money matters. Like I said, I think I've been a rich man, I've been a poor man, I choose rich every fucking time and never look back, right? Now, why is that? Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I have been rich and absolutely just so happy. You can't imagine how happy I've been, right? It's like I am right now. I'm rich and happy, right? But I've also been rich and fucking miserable. I've been rich. Who's been rich and miserable here? Anybody? Anyone who's rich has been miserable at one point, right? You can be rich and miserable. I have been poor and utterly miserable, but never, not once, have I been rich and fucking happy. I just blew up myself. I've never been poor and happy. Why? Because a lack of money creates massive problems and complications. Now, some people can, very few, some can, like Mother Teresa, a handful of others can be really happy and not have money because they're not rooted in that. Their belief systems are rooted in an entirely different world. I'm guessing most of you didn't buy tickets because you feel that way, though. You feel quite the opposite. Now, I'm not saying that money is the be-all, end-all. Okay, money only matters 1,000% for a few things like food, shelter, medical care, basic stuff, right? And then after that, there's these higher level things like that matter far more than money, like contribution, giving back, just loving what you do. So there's other things, of course, as well. But there's a certain amount of money that each individual needs, and it differs by individual. Like, for example, I'll say this for after we talk about number 4 here, but it differs from individual, okay? And what happens is when someone starts to justify and starts saying, I don't need money, well, guess what? We don't get the things that we don't need. If you don't think you need something, you're not going to have it. And frankly, if you go around saying it, that I don't need money, money's not important to me, you're never going to have any. I'll tell you why. For example, who here is in a, now if your spouse or partner is here, don't answer this question. But who is here in a really toxic relationship they want to get out of? Raise your hand if you're alone and your partner's not here and you want to get out. Okay, it's one honest person among thousands, all right? I respect that person. Right? I'm going to tell you how to get out of the relationship. I think it's a guy maybe, right? So I want for the next 30 days, when you wake up, I want you to turn to your partner and say, listen, you don't matter to me. I promise you by day 15, they're out the fucking door. Things that they don't stick around in our lives. If you keep saying that loud, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need it. You're never going to have it. Money matters and you need it. I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all, but you got to get honest with yourself. That makes sense, yes? And the third thing that people do is they complain. People that are saying the world happens to me versus I create my world, they complain. And when you complain, basically what you're doing is you're focusing on everything that's wrong in your life. You're focusing on everything that's wrong, that's not right, that's bothering you. And what happens is some universal laws that are very powerful. One of them is that what you focus on, you move towards. What you focus on, you will move towards. That's a universal law of success. What you focus on, you move towards. So if you're focusing on all the things that are wrong, you're going to crash right into them. It's called living in the problem, is the other way of saying it, versus a solution. The other side of that, which is even worse, is that what you focus on, you attract into your life. What you focus on, you attract. So if you're focusing on all the shit in your life, you become a giant shit magnet. You literally attract shit into your life. When I hear someone that complains all the time, I don't want to be away from it because the shit might hit me when it comes to them, right? So you want to be not near those people. Now, these are universal laws. If those of you have heard about The Secret, who's read The Secret and knows about The Secret, right? The problem I have with The Secret, and it's because it's true, there's this law of attraction, and it's powerful. It really is. It's powerful, and it's there. The problem with The Secret is that the success route they want you to take with The Secret is say, okay, if you want to have a lot of money in your life, here's what you got to do. You got to go into your living room. You got to put the shades down. I'm going to sit down because I got to get in the right state of mind here. You got to sit on your couch, a nice quiet room, shades drawn, and I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine a check showing up in your mailbox for $100,000. And I want you to put that out into the ether of the world and just attract that check and just, you got to think really hard and visualize the check and attract that check and it's coming into your mailbox and sure enough, you focus on it hard enough, long enough, a check for $100,000 is going to show up in your mailbox. What a bunch of shit that is, right? I mean, if that's your strategy for success, the only thing that will show up in your mailbox is a fucking eviction notice, right? The bank is towing away your car, your wife or husband's bagging the next door neighbor, you're like, where's my check? Where's my Like, I tried, it doesn't work. Like, a bag of money didn't hit me in the head. I'm one of those poor, unfortunate fools who has to go out into the world and take action to get what I want. So now here's the thing with The Secret, though. There is a law of attraction, but you have to move towards the things that you want. You have to get close to them, and then you can attract them. In other words, it's like that old experiment. You probably did this in grade school here in science, with a horseshoe magnet and iron filings. And the teacher says, oh, watch, here's how magnetism works. And she puts the filings here, the magnet here, nothing happens. So she moves the magnet closer, nothing happens. Closer still, nothing happens. But if she gets close enough, whoosh, suddenly the iron attracts to the magnet. So you have to put yourself in the vicinity of the things you want to attract, and then you will attract them. So what really happens, the way this works is like when you start to focus on what you want, on where you want to go, it alerts you to the opportunities you need to move towards. So as long as you get active, so it starts by focusing on where you want to go, what your outcome is, and that alerts you to what you have to move towards. And when you get close enough, you attract it. That's how it works in reality. So those are your beliefs and how they either can work for you or against you. The way limiting beliefs work is you're held down by the lowest level limiting belief. If there's one belief that's holding you back, it's like almost like a Ferrari, my friend's got a beautiful Lamborghini, right? It's $1 million car. It probably goes 230 miles an hour. It's got an incredibly sleek cherry red chassis, right? 12 cylinders, 4 valves per, right? But here's the deal. If there's a governor on the engine stopping the flow of gas, I don't care how fast the car could go, it's not going to go over 55. That's what a limiting belief does. One belief will sit there and hold you back, stop you from charging forward where you should, and cause you to pull back when you shouldn't. So you have to root them out and replace them with empowering beliefs. It starts by getting honest. And again, I don't have time to dig into this today, but I just want to alert you to the fact that if you have them, you need to do something about it, about rooting out limiting beliefs. And again, you can go to my website. You can go to Tony Robbins, who focuses on the inner game a lot. And it's good stuff. It's very valuable stuff to get your head straight up here, okay?